Ignition sequence starts. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Liftoff. We have a liftoff.
Hey everybody, this is the Digital Asset Investor, and I wanted to show you this clip right here at the beginning. And I want you to really hone in on the word global stablecoin, because don't be surprised if sooner rather than later they're not referring to XRP as a global stablecoin. Don't be surprised. That's all I'm saying. But here's Jeremy Allaire, and he's from Circle. Listen to what he says.
The FSB work, I think it's tremendously important, and I think it's a great development because what the market wants is clarity. What the market needs is what are the rules of the road. And so financial market participants, whether they be banks or fintechs or just companies that are going to do commerce on the internet, they want to know, how do we interact with this? And in particular, global stablecoins, and right. Global, that's a defined term in this. Global stablecoins that can work around the world and have the potential to be used really broadly. That's a place where you want to have consistency, right? Because they're global.
Just sit back and watch, because I've seen XRP referenced as a stable coin in, I think it was a document from Canada a while back, and they called XRP and XLM both stable coins. And ever since then, I've wondered if that was intentional, and I believe that it was intentional. I believe behind the scenes they know that they have to make both of them stable coins. This is just me thinking out loud, but it's what makes sense, because people are not going to want to send these digital assets that are so volatile. They're not going to want to deal with them if they're too volatile. I've always felt like they had to set them to something with a floor or something like that in order to get the adoption worldwide that they need and want. Okay. CoinDesk, tomorrow marks the 12th anniversary of Bitcoin's white paper. I think tomorrow is tomorrow. Yes. They tweeted this today. The 12th anniversary of Bitcoin's white paper, a 9-page document that launched a monetary revolution. I wanted to draw something to your attention. This is the Bitcoin white paper. I wanted to show you what it's called. Bitcoin, a peer-to-peer electronic cash system. A purely peer-to-peer version of electronic cash would allow online payments to be sent directly from one party to another without going through a financial institution. Well, if this was their goal to be electronic cash, they've failed, because everybody, including the Bitcoin maxis, know that this is never going to be anything except a store of value, because it doesn't move fast enough. The network gets overloaded anytime the market's going crazy. Everybody knows that. That's why they did the store value thing. Now, I saw this tweet today, and I thought this was funny. This guy, I'm always saying how XRP has always been the one. This guy says, it's always been XLM, digital asset investor. And I will agree with him to an extent. I think it's always been XRP and XLM. I think that XRP is the one. I think XLM is the brother or sister to it. And he's tweeting out this, it's the quiet ones you have to watch out for. XLM, the Lumen, the sleeping giant. I agree it's one of the sleeping giants. This is a clip from Jim Rickards that I've played before. Listen.
There's a cryptocurrency called Stellar. Lumen is the name of the coin. Stellar is the sponsoring organization. Ticker is XLM. This is actually being used in a pilot project with IBM to create a payment system in the southwestern Pacific and all those little tiny island nations, Micronesia and Samoa and the Marianas. Well, think about what they have to do. So you go to a Starbucks in, New Caledonia or someplace, and that poor bank is, you got a merchant acquirer who accepts your MasterCard, then they got to hand it over to the local bank. That bank has to send it to a correspondent bank in Sydney, Australia. The bank in Sydney, Australia has got to run it through the Visa network. Then they got to get paid. Then they got to send it back to this little bank. So think of all the steps, all the costs, et cetera. What if you could replace that with a blockchain They are doing this, by the way. This is a real pilot using the Lumen token. Well, IBM has built this. Lumen is the token of choice. It's working extremely well. And those value is moving around without going through this clunky central bank network and correspondent bank network that I just described. It's cheaper. That means, people can either lower prices or offer more services. And it's also big on remittances. A lot of countries around the world, the job opportunities are limited. So the population, they migrate, they go to Europe or the United States or elsewhere to get jobs. But the, mom and dad and the little sister are still home. And so they send money back home. Remittances are very clunky. A lot of the people have been using Western Union.
Okay, great clip. All right, then we got this from James Rule, XRP, sent me this. Starlink mobile app is now available for iPhone and Android. This is the Starlink app. Using Starlink app to set up and monitor your Starlink service. There are many of you out there that are going to be using this. We may all be using Starlink before we know it. But this has it like shows you the app. It shows this person's connecting to their satellite. We're going to all have these little dishes on our roofs, is what I'm imagining. You can run speed test. And it says your satellite's obstructed. Pretty cool to think that this is all happening right now. Jonathan D sent me this. This is a text from Brad Garlinghouse today. Big deal text right here. Brad Garlinghouse says, huge in all caps. Pivotal step from New York Department of Financial Services. Let's all be part of the solution for global climate crisis, not exacerbate the problem. As more companies, Square, RH, MicroStrategy, PayPal, Hold provide services for Bitcoin, critical to mitigate carbon impact and use more energy efficient assets. He's retweeting this. This is from a lady that's at the New York Department of Financial Services with prior letter to insurers and this letter to banks and other financial institutions, including cryptocurrency. All regulated entities must address the financial risks of climate change. Well, who could they be talking about? Here's Bitcoin, this thing that wastes more energy than anything. I've always thought that Bitcoin was a freaking ruse, folks. I've always thought that it was put out there for everybody to be staring at this thing when it's not. It never was the one, and they all know it. And it's a climate disaster. And meanwhile, they're over here talking about climate change. And at some point, they're going to pivot to this, and it's going to be an issue. And all of a sudden, nobody's going to like it. New York's top financial regulator is directing banks to start taking climate change risks into consideration when managing their operations. It's the boldest move yet by a U.S. official to impose climate-related rules on financial firms. So here's a question for you, folks. How long, all these firms that are supposedly going to start stocking up on Bitcoin, when these financial regulators, they're telling you right here, when these financial regulators start penalizing them in some sort of way, when they're doing things that could harm the climate, what do you think they're going to hold? A climate-friendly digital asset or a climate-killing digital asset? It's a no-brainer. It's the no-brainer of no-brainers. And it's not a coincidence, because there are no coincidences. It's not a coincidence that Brad Garlinghouse is saying huge in all caps on this, because that's exactly what's going on. All right. Camo Ammo had done a little poll, and I want to show you where I fall here. XRP, you can see where I fall. I think I chose Ripple. Please advise us. XRP community, do you have any concerns about the Flare airdrop and risking your XRP bags? I will tell you, as I sit here, the digital asset investor does have some concerns. I am not completely sold on this concept at all. My XRP is safely where it is, and it is not moving anytime soon. They're going to take these snapshots on December 12th, and somebody's going to have to sell me more on this, to be honest. That's just where I'm at. Okay, another good video right here. This is Chris Giancarlo from the Digital Dollar Project, and there's a couple of other guys on here. I don't know. I think one of them might be with PayPal. How do we build the ability for people to add new forms of payments? Watch this.
Indeed. And I also, just before we wrap up, I do want to talk a little bit about crypto, because there's lessons to be learned, I think, from the crypto space that may apply to the CBDC space. And Usman, I might come back to you on this one, because I know PayPal is engaging that area Are there lessons you think that can be learned from the last few years' experience in crypto and its growing maturization that might be applicable to the development of CBDC over the coming decade?
Sure, no, and certainly, we had some news, I guess, about 10 days ago on this front in terms of launching the ability to buy, sell, and hold for specific cryptocurrencies in the PayPal digital wallet. I think the first lesson is, we did it in compliance with existing laws, right? So having that, as Kabir keeps alluding to, having that regulatory infrastructure and the confidence to be able to offer a product that's going to be overseen is actually very important for the private sector. And so this broader effort that Chris, you're leading is just so important, I think, as we're building this out. The second piece is being able to have those digital wallets that offer security, connectivity into the individual users. This public-private partnership that's also at the center of what the DDP is doing, I think, is the other key learning that we are taking out of this is how do we build the ability for people to add new forms of payments, money, assets into their wallet, because that's what people want, and they want to be able to use there are different tools that, as we've said many times on this call, I don't think any of us see CBDC replacing all the other forms of payment. They're going to continue to exist because they have uses. So that's really, I think, one of the big learnings for us is how do we continue to add functionality for different users based upon what they need and what they want.
And I think that guy was with PayPal, but that's the Cryptic Poet. Now, when I was looking around today, I ran into this article. This is from today. The Great Reset, globalists using the virus to destroy the old world order. Spectator columnist James Dillingpole says the World Economic Forum is seeking to use the current events to reshape the world with its Great Reset in what globalists see as a chance to destroy capitalism and the old world order. Well, look, we've been following all this New World Order talk and all this stuff for a long time. And we've been talking about it in the context of this new digital ledger technology and XRP. But where the digital asset investor draws the line is when you start talking about people who are trying to get rid of capitalism and some of these creepy things. My ears really perked up the other day when I saw that creep show, that commercial. Let me take you down. Somebody put a picture of it on here. It really, this really creeped me out. This little thing right here. When I saw that screen, this was put out by the World Economic Forum. It says you'll own nothing and you'll be happy, as if they're telling you like you're a child at school. It's like they're telling you what you're going to do, and then you'll sit down and shut up and be happy. This right here is downright creepy. And this is the guy that was in this article. Listen to what he says.
They're talking about things like they don't want us to own property anymore. We're not going to own anything. It will be provided for us. Well, who does own the property? Who's renting it out to us? Some sort of shadowy elite. This is a takeover by the technocrats. And I urge anyone who thinks that this is a kind of conspiracy theory to do a bit of background reading. The Great Reset, the World Economic Forum, combined with UN Agenda 2030, as it's now called, is a complete transformation of our societies around the world on lines I would call communist or fascist. I mean, frankly, what's the...
So basically, they're telling you that this is not some guy that's just some crazy guy that's just saying it. This is in the World Economic Forum commercial. It's the first thing that it says. They proudly said this. You'll own nothing and you'll be happy. No, I will not, because I want to work hard and accumulate ownership of things and then pass it to my children is what I would like to do, because I'm a thinking human being and I don't need the World Economic Forum to do my thinking for me. I especially don't need this creepy guy to think for me and tell me what's going to make me happy. This is creep show stuff, and it really freaked me out when I saw it. We can have new technologies and not get some creepy person that wants to control. And I'll ask you, this is Klaus Schwab who started the World Economic Forum. Do you think that when they're talking about you won't own anything, but you'll be happy, do you think he's talking about himself, or do you think he's going to own probably 20 chalets up in the mountains of Austria or wherever he lives. He'll be just fine. It's the same thing that offends me about these kind of people. They talk about how they care about climate change. That's all they talk about is climate change this, climate change that. And that's fine. Climate change is a thing, and that's fine. But don't go and get on your private plane every day and use and emit more carbon, whatever, in one plane ride than average people like me and the people listening to me do in a year, and then talk about about the climate as if you're concerned, because what's good for the goose is good for the gander. If it's bad for me to do it and you want me to be in some tiny little car that doesn't emit any things, don't come from the angle of me being some peasant and it's different. The rules are different for you. You can have 20 houses and fly on a private plane every day, while we peasants, we're gonna not own anything and we're gonna be happy, right? No, that doesn't work for me. And I bet it doesn't work for a lot of people that are listening to me. So when it comes to Great Reset, it has its limits where I'm concerned. XRP is a great thing, and I am all for, I think that we all have tremendous opportunity with XRP and XLM. But it doesn't have to involve people taking our rights away, World Economic Forum. And so there are places where it won't just be me drawing lines, but the creepy talk that's coming out of their mouths. This is dangerous talk right here, and I'm not going for it. And I'll tell you plainly so. I think you get where I'm coming from. Now, back to this new technology that we've been talking about for over 2 years that can be used for good or for evil. And I want it to be used for good, because that's what I'm for. I'm for freedom and good. And all new inventions can be used for good. And that's what I am about. I want to make sure everybody understands that. All right. Speaking of good, iTrustCapital today launched the most technologically advanced physical silver IRA. And so now in your iTrustCapital IRA, and it's there's a link with a coupon code for a free first month in the description of my video. You can you can either roll a 401k or a retirement plan from your old job, or if you got laid off, or you can go and open one fresh. And now you can invest in silver that's on the blockchain. It's called Vault Chain. iTrustCapital announces the first ever IRA to offer Vault Chain TM Silver. Now clients can buy and sell physical silver alongside gold, Bitcoin, and other cryptocurrencies. This is 24/7 utilizing Kitco for trade execution. Vault Chain trademark. The same system used for gold allows clients to own physical silver securely stored at the Royal Canadian Mint with title managed by a cryptographically secure blockchain. And it says iTrustCapital can offer physical silver at only $2.50 over spot per ounce. Excellent. That is exciting. So, and I plan on when the crypto in my iTrustCapital account really booms, I think it's going to go crazy. And when it does, I may diversify some of it into gold and silver after that. Okay, I wanted to finish with this quote. Mark Phillips, if you want to be successful, do the opposite of what everyone else is doing. I have found this to be true in my life, and it's so true. I'll expound on it a little bit. One of the most, what I have noticed in my life more than anything else is that 99.9% of people in general, and more specifically in business, your competition, they will do everything. They will move heaven and earth to be accepted and to be liked. If you can ever harness the ability to be individualistic in everything you do, whether it's your personal life and your business, if you can ever harness the concept of being an individual and doing what you feel is right in your heart and right in your gut and doing the right thing, and then once you know you're doing the right thing and that you've got the right intentions along with it, then don't listen to the naysayers. You go with everything you've got towards your goal or whatever your mission is, and do it with all the fervor that you can, and ignore the naysayers, because the better that you get, the more naysayers you'll have. There's going to be people that they'll hate you for the pants you're wearing that day. They'll hate you for the way you said this or what you said or how you said it or the fact that you said it at all. No, that has to do with a YouTube channel, but it doesn't matter what. But pick a business. If you're a plumber, you'll have plumbers that are talking bad about you in your town and saying that you charge too much, or you this, or you don't know how to install a septic tank. Whatever. You're always going to have people saying bad things about it, no matter what you try to go and accomplish. You've got to be willing to not let that bother you, because if you can have that ability to go your own way and to not let the opinions of other people affect you doing what you feel in your gut is the right thing to do, it's one of the most powerful things you can have in your arsenal, is that ability to proceed forward and block out the people that are just trying to come at you in your business or whatever. I'm the digital asset investor. I'm not an investment advisor. This is for entertainment purposes only. Please subscribe and hit the like button. And don't be afraid to go your own way. It is the greatest decision you will ever make, is to not let the opinions of others stop you, because that's all they want to do is stop you. Do the right thing. Do it honestly. Work your butt off. And then ignore the opinions of people who are working counter to that. Thank you for listening.